Hey, what's up, fellas? How you doing, man? Antonelli here.
So I want to talk about something that you just said. It was your daily routine. Every single day you woke up, you said, "What can I do to be a first rounder?" I love the habits that I've created for myself. It really helps me. I can really tell if I fall out of a habit. It really affects my life, right?
Mhm.
What things I'm doing now with when I was in college. I mean, that is definitely probably one of the biggest things I would change with my playing career was having a better routine. And it sounds like you picked up on a great routine early. Take us through kind of a day, a baseball day, where you woke up, you said, I'm getting drafted in the first round. This is how I'm going to do it. What does that day look like?
Sure. I would say the typical day, I'd get up. Either we'd have a workout before school or I'd go to school right away. So, one thing we had to do is we had to do our classes early. Usually I'd want my day done by around like noon or 1 o'clock. And so I would try to usually get my classes out of the way early. And then basically when I'm done at 1 o'clock with classes, noon or one, then it's like pretty much baseball until late at night when I've got to go to study hall and then get back into homework mode. But I would say, thinking back, I'd probably get out of class at 1, I'd eat lunch, and then I would get up over to the field probably around 1:30, 2 o'clock. Try to do something on my own. So we had a batting cage. The facilities now at Wake Forest are amazing. I didn't have the facilities then that they have now, but I had all I needed. I had a field and I had a batting cage. And so I usually try to get up there. I would try to get something done in the batting cage. I would try to pick something that I wanted to work on that day. I'd probably hit for like 30, 45 minutes on my own. Practice would start. I think we started right around like 2:30ish or so. We would usually practice for like, say 2.5 hours. Then you usually go to the weight room after that, work out for like an hour or so. And then typically after that, we'd go to study hall. So at Wake Forest, it was mandatory study hall freshman year. And then I think depending on your GPA and all that stuff, you can kind of not go as much your sophomore and junior year. I was a good student in high school, but Wake Forest was a little bit tougher for me. And I think I wanted, I'll just say this. I went to Wake Forest. I tell everyone, they say, why'd you go to Wake Forest? I say, well, I went because of the academics and the athletics. But honestly, once I got on campus, it was like, okay, I have to do school to make sure that I get all my stuff done and I'm eligible. But I was like 99% baseball. I mean, I wanted baseball bad, and then I did enough schooling. So I had to go to study hall probably more than some of the other guys did. And honestly, if that would end late, I'd get like dinner, and then at that point, like the night's almost over. It's like either go to bed, maybe hang out with my buddies for a little bit, or sometimes I would go and do a little bit extra work, maybe up at the cage again, or maybe getting another workout or something like that. But it was honestly like it felt similar to professional baseball, where it felt like a job. There was just school involved that's not involved in professional baseball, but it was like an 8 a.m. till 10 p.m. day, pretty much like every day. And, luckily I really enjoyed that and I like it. And so, that's what I did and I had fun with it.
That's great. I mean, it sounds like the key to kind of just your success. Obviously, you're super talented. You don't just you don't just go to Wake Forest on routine alone. You're super talented, but it seems like you combined it with being just like Superman consistency. I mean, would you say that's kind of accurate? It's tough to do that every single day, day in and day out. So it's kind of cool you had that mantra and that very, very clear goal, that you want to get drafted in the first round. So let's talk about that. I mean, that's every kid's dream. Anyone that's watching this or listening to this that's playing baseball in high school or middle school or college or whatever, that is the dream to hear your name called in the first round. Take us through that day. Take us through, the call, and then what happened right after, because I know it's super, super fast moving. So what was that like?
So I'll go to the night before the draft. My dad would check, and I also would check a little bit. They had like mock drafts and stuff. And so I had an idea. I think the night I went to bed, they had me going, I think 14th overall to the Blue Jays. And so I thought I had a pretty good chance of going in the first round. I talked to a decent amount of teams. I know the Red Sox were picking. I think they picked late that draft. It was like high 20s or something.
Did you really want the Red Sox?
So it's funny. I was a huge Red Sox fan.
Yeah.
But selfishly, I did not want the Red Sox because I wanted to go a lot higher. But
that's fair.
So
that's very fair.
The Red Sox kind of said, like, if I made it to them, that they would probably select me. They made it sound like they were probably, there was a good chance they'd select me. So I had a good idea I was going to go in the first round. So I woke up in the morning and we had a little party over the house. We had my friends over, my family's friends, my family, everyone over the house. There was a good amount of people over there. And but I was fairly confident I was going to go pretty high. I remember I woke up and checked that mock draft and they had changed it and put someone else in my spot for the Blue Jays. And I remember getting all upset that I had moved back in the draft, even though I'm sure it didn't really mean anything. But I wasn't nervous at all. I was, again, I don't know why. I think I just felt confident that I was going to go somewhere. The Padres ended up calling me, which I did not know was the Padres at the time. They were the one team that called me right before the draft. Answered the phone and they just said, hey, they didn't even say who they were. They said, hey, you got all 10 fingers and 10 toes. And I was like, yep, I got all 10 fingers and 10 toes. And they said, okay, great. Just hang in there. Something might be happening soon. And I said, okay, great. I hung up the phone. And then my parents said, who was it? And I said, I have no idea. I just said, someone called and asked if I had 10 fingers and 10 toes. And I told them, yeah.
So weird.
I know.
So weird.
I know. So I had all my friends over, and so we hung out, played, Xbox for the day, and then the draft started. Back then, it was on the internet. It wasn't on TV or anything. Mm-hmm. I actually have, if you go on my YouTube channel, I don't know what you got to type in, draft day or something. I have a video. So there was a couple of camera crews or local news stations that came over and filmed the draft. They had me mic'd up or whatever back in the day, and. So I put that on YouTube. So if anyone wants to see it, you can go on there and check out Draft Day. But
we'll put that in. We're gonna write up a little story about this. We're gonna put in some show notes. I'll make sure to link that so people can go to the website and see that. Yeah, go ahead.
I had horrible hair. I had this long, just terrible haircut. My style was terrible. But so, anyways, yeah, we watched it on the computer. Sat there with my family and everyone, and then got a call. Probably right before the Padres picked. And again, I didn't know who it was. I answered the phone and they said, hey man, congratulations. We're about to pick you here. I said, thank you so much. I hung up the phone. My parents looked at me. And again, I was like, I don't know. Someone said they're going to take me, but I don't know who it is. And probably a minute later or so, it said, San Diego Padres select, and they called my name, and then everyone got real excited. And that was it.
Man, I feel like I'm there. My heart's beating. I love the detail in that story because you didn't even know who was calling you. It's crazy, and they ask you a really weird question. That's crazy as well. That's so cool. And then, so they say they select you. You hug your family. Everything happens, and then you're just sitting there. And you're like, "What do I do now?" Do they call you after?
So basically, no. So we all celebrated. Actually, one of my buddies went in his car. He had just bought a San Diego Padres hat. So he ran out to his car, got it, came back, gave it to me, and he was like, "This is a really weird coincidence, but I just bought this hat here. Take it." So I threw it on, and so yeah, we just hung out, and then so they ended up calling. I don't remember if it was that night or the next day or whatever, and. They said, I think it was the next day maybe, and they said, hey, we want to, let's talk negotiations or whatever. Let's figure out a contract and hammer away at it, and let's get it signed today and get you out here playing. And so I called my agent, and I was like, hey, I just got a call from the Padres, and he was in New York, and that's where his agency actually is in Virginia, but his office was in New York, and I said, yeah, they said they want to sign me today. They're going to work on the contract. And he was like, whoa. He's like, no, we're not signing today. He's like, I'm not even there. We'll get together. We'll have a meeting, whatever. And so I said, okay. So I told them, and they said, no. We're signing today. The area scout is coming up, and we're going to get this hammered out. So the area scout that drafted me flew up, came to my house, and he said, yeah, we're getting this done. And so we literally sat in my house it felt like, I think it was the whole day. He got there early. we talked the whole day. My agent was on the phone, and they would just, talk back and forth, and then we'd wait and hang out for a while, and they'd talk again and hang out for a while. I think they originally offered me like $30,000 under slot value, which slot value is basically just, I don't know, I guess the money they assign for that pick, and they say, that's kind of fair value, I guess.
Yeah.
So they offered like 30,000 less, and then my agent was like, F this, we want 30,000 more, and then they fought back and forth, and after a whole day, I ended up signing, and I signed for exactly slot value. So we fought the whole day, and signed for slot value, and then he said, "Great, let's go to eat dinner," and we went and ate dinner with the area scout, and that was it. I was a Padre. I signed, and I flew out like a couple days later.
That's awesome. I mean, the guy, whoever picked slot value, I mean, good job. Props to that guy.
Right on.
Yeah, right. Perfect on the money. That's cool.
Technically, I didn't even need an agent. I could have just said hey, I'll sign for slot value. Okay, great, we'll get it done, and then we'll go. But I didn't know, and actually, honestly, I was not. I probably could have held out and signed for a little bit more, but in the end, it's like if you're I was getting drafted for more money than I had at the time probably $3 in my wallet, and I never had a job in my life other than playing baseball, so I was happy to pretty much almost sign for anything. So I was not going to argue over a little bit of money here and there. I just wanted to basically play. I wanted to be fair, but I wanted to sign and play. I think I might have been the first rounder, or I could have been the first rounder to sign. I believe I signed so fast.
I don't know if that's impressive, but it happened.
It did.
I'm the quickest signer of these contracts. Give me the contract outside. Yeah, no negotiation.
Yeah.
Dude, that's so cool though. So you went from years, every single day, saying I want to go in the first round. I'm going to go in the first round. I'm doing this routine every day. 3 years. You sign, and now you're like, I'm a professional baseball player. I'm a first rounder. I mean, what was actually going through your head? I know you're happy. I know you just had more money, than you've ever had because you went to the batting cage. And I'm going to embarrass you now because what was the car that you bought?
Oh, worst investment ever. Hopefully Jaguar isn't watching this. I bought the stupidest car. That was the one thing I spent my signing bonus on. I don't know why. I felt like, it's a cool thing to get a new car, and it was horrible. I would not, if anyone gets drafted anywhere, do not buy a stupid expensive car.
So that's great tactical advice people can use. Anyone that goes in the first round that's listening to this podcast, don't buy a Jaguar. But I remember because for anyone that's listening, we grew up in the same town. For everyone that's listening, we grew up in the same town. I'm a little bit younger than you, and I worked at Extra Innings. It was a batting cage you went to often, and I see Matt rolling up in this black Jaguar, right? I was like, this kid's the man. He just signed. He just signed with the Padres. He's from Peabody. He's a Peabody kid. And I think I went out and I looked at your car. It was fun. It was really fun. So I got some enjoyment out of that purchase. So it wasn't a total loss.
Well, it still makes me mad, but I'm glad you were excited.
I was super excited. Yeah, I don't know how old I was, 14 or something. 14, I don't know.